And yet something just doesn't feel right. Because in medicine, perhaps the most dangerous place to be is not always sick. It's that quiet space before illness begins. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome to CNC3's Ask the Doctor, where we look beyond just numbers and get to the truth about your health. We're live every Thursday with reruns on Friday at 11 a.m. or Saturday at 11:30 a.m. You can follow us on Facebook. Don't forget to like our Ask the Doctor page and the CNC3 website. And we dive deeper into these topics in the Trinidad Guardian every Friday. Stay with us as we begin with the Doctor's Capsule. As we battle thick plumes of Sahara dust and pollen, hay fever or seasonal allergies affect hundreds of millions of people worldwide. And it's getting worse, partly due to climate change, increasing pollen levels. But the good news is there are simple science-backed ways to control symptoms. Nasal sprays may be more effective than pills, especially those that may be combined with some sort of steroid as an anti-inflammatory. They work directly where the problem is. And you want to be careful with some decongestant sprays because if you use them for more than a few days, they can actually exacerbate the congestion. And if you're using tablets, go for some of these modern non-drowsy antihistamines, some names like loratadine or cetirizine. And you may want to start treatment before this season begins and use it regularly, not just when symptoms flare. Technique matters. Have a chat with your doctor or pharmacist about how to use sprays properly so the medication is actually reaching the nose and not the throat. And don't forget lifestyle. Keep your windows closed. Shower after being outdoors. Reduce pollen exposure. And finally, if symptoms are affecting your sleep, breathing, or daily life, don't ignore it. See your doctor. According to CNN, a new report highlights a growing concern for parents. Social media isn't just distracting kids, so it's not just this dopamine hit. It may be weakening their ability to think critically. Experts say the real solution isn't banning social media, but teaching children how to think, not just what to consume. We used to be a very literate country, you know. Doesn't seem so if you scroll through social media. Critical thinking, the ability to question, to analyze and evaluate information, helps protect young people from some of the ravages of the modern era. So it's something to remember when we're talking about misinformation and scams or online manipulation that seems to be ubiquitous. It may also reduce anxiety because children feel more in control of what they see online. So it's important that we encourage parents or guardians to ask questions together. We still want to encourage curiosity. Teach children it's okay to change their minds based on evidence. And importantly, the early teenage years are a critical window for brain development. Use it or lose it is that sort of period. So it's a time for critical thinking in which you develop and build these skills. And perhaps most powerful of all, listen to this. Simply talking regularly with your children can protect them from online harm. Further across the Atlantic, a shocking case from the United Kingdom highlights the dangers of unproven medical treatments. A doctor has been struck off the medical register there after charging patients thousands of pounds for so-called cancer therapies that had no scientific evidence. We see this locally. Apparently, one patient there with prostate cancer paid up to £15,000, while another with advanced ovarian cancer paid over £10,000 for treatments including ozone therapy and intravenous substances, with no clear record of what was actually given. And you know what's the tragic part? These treatments delayed proper medical care, and in one case, the patient died shortly after stopping conventional treatment from the hospital. The clinic itself was described in the investigation as unsafe, unregistered, and unhygienic, and the doctor falsely reassured patients that their cancer could be cured. So this case is a stark reminder. If something sounds too good to be true, It usually is. Always seek evidence-based care from licensed professionals. Now, 6 years after the pandemic began, COVID-19 feels like a problem of the past. Lockdowns are gone, masks are gone, life has moved on. However, we always emphasize the virus hasn't. SARS-CoV-2, which is a virus that causes COVID-19, is still around. After causing an estimated 15 million deaths globally, it's no longer dominating headlines, but that's not the same as disappearing. In fact, in recent winters in North America and Europe, flu has overtaken COVID as the main respiratory illness. And it seems that we have some level of immunity, as widespread infections would generally cause less severe subsequent problems. But the uncomfortable truth is that we didn't defeat COVID. We adapted to it. And in doing so, we've also grown complacent. The virus is still circulating. It's still mutating. They've actually named the new variant cicada. And for the elderly or the vulnerable, those with weakened immunities, persons with diabetes, hypertension, heart, lung, or kidney disease, infections like these still matter and still kill. COVID didn't disappear. We just stopped paying attention. And in public health, that's often when problems return. So avoid those 3 C's: closed, crowded, and close contact settings. So that ban from the 1980s air supplies in Trinidad for one of their 50th anniversary tours throughout the world. And in a bit of lighter news, Canadian singer Michael Bublé is making headlines for joking that his concerts may be responsible for baby booms. He says that when he has a romantic outdoor performance under the stars with music, dancing, and a little wine, it creates such an atmosphere that birth rates seem to rise 9 months later, similar to how we have carnival babies. He even has a name for it, Bublé Bees. So the singer is set to tour the United Kingdom and Ireland this summer and says he's now trying to balance his career with family life, bringing his 4 children along for the experience. So if you're heading for a concert like that, including Air Supply this weekend, enjoy the music and maybe plan ahead. It's time for a short break, and when we return, the Kiddies capsule is up next.
This month end at Food Basket, Marketplace, Arima, Chaguanas, Champlain, and Goville. With a purchase of $500 and over, you get to choose a free case of Chubby, a bale of toilet paper, 2 cases of water, or 3 5-liter liquid detergent. Yes, you can get to choose an item for free with purchases of $500 and over. Don't miss it, happening this month end at Food Basket Marketplace in Arima, Chaguanas, Champlain, and Goville. Food Basket Marketplace, where shopping is a pleasure and the price is right.
Get a free pair of polarized sunglasses with the purchase of new Gen S Transitions lenses with anti-reflective coating and frames. Selected designer frames now just $4.99 with additional promotions. Hurry, limited time only at Seaview Optical.
Your immune system is your first line of defense. Discover BioStrath Immune Health. BioStrath Immune Health is enriched with zinc, ensuring that your body stays resilient. BioStrath Immune Health. Get what you need naturally.
At Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, we are making this Mother's Day extra special. Enjoy special discounts, free giveaways, plus $100 off detox spa session. Experience our infrared ultrasonic blanket. Turn back the clock with our LED non-surgical facelift for that natural, radiant glow. Not sure what she loved most? Our gift certificates can let her choose her perfect gift this Mother's Day. Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, because every mom deserves to feel beautiful, appreciated, and renewed. Call 653-0011.
Broken! Ever since I started wearing hands-free Glide Step Skechers Sleep-ins, my other shoes are useless. With Skechers Sleep-ins, I just step in and they're on. Try Skechers Sleep-ins.
In the ever-changing media landscape, we at Guardian Media strive always to put you our viewers and readers first.
We strive to uphold the time-honored tenets of responsible journalism.
For us, accuracy is key.
And in our reporting, we strive not only to be first, but fair,
impartial,
and to uphold journalistic integrity.
Above all, we are accountable to you, and we must respect the views of our audience. That is our solemn contract with you.
Keen attention to detail,
rigorous verification of facts,
use of credible sources, and sound editorial judgment.
Keep track of our editorial policies and guidelines, including our corrections policy, by logging on to www.guardian.co.tt for more.
Welcome back to CNC3's Ask the Doctor. It's time for the part of the show where the smallest voices make the biggest impact, where our young experts remind us that good health isn't complicated. Indeed, it's often the simple things we forget. Let's have a look at this evening's Kiddies capsule.
My name is Shamri Saintus and I go to Lendo Hindu School, and today I'll be making a fruit bowl. I have apples, oranges and a pineapple. I will now ask my father to help me cut the fruits. Now it's time to mix and taste. Fruits are packed with vitamin C and protects body from diseases. Eat a serving of fruit to stay healthy. And this is the end of my Kiddies capsule.
This son hot boy. That's true, but don't worry, I have some tips. Tip number 1, drink plenty water. Don't drink soda or juice. Your body needs water.
Tip number 2, stay indoors or shade when the suns get too hot.
Tip number 3, wear light clothes. Don't wear a hoodie in this hot sun. Take breaks and get enough rest.
If you feel dizzy or sick, tell an adult right away.
Stay hydrated and keep cool.
My name is Alvi.
My name is Jaylan. My name is Deja. And this is your Kiddies capsule.
Soy Nicholson Nachim. May Escuela is Lerno Village Hindu. This is a poem about vaccines. A tiny poke, a little sting, but look at all the health it brings. It builds a shield and makes you tough to tell those germs I've had enough. You're a hero, brave and strong, helping everyone get along. With one quick prick, you're on your way to run, jump, and safely play. This was your Kiddies capsule. Adios!
Soy Jaylan Joseph. Mi escuela es Lendo Village Hindu. World Immunization Week is from the 24th to the 30th of April. The global theme is For Every Generation, Vaccines Work. Protect today, safeguard tomorrow. This was your Kiddies capsule for today. Bye.
And once more, a treasure trove of information from our nation's children. Feel free to send videos of school-aged children discussing health-related themes to Uncle Rajiv at 800 CNC3. It would be a delight to have them as part of our Ask the Doctor family. It's time for a short break, and when we return, the Medical Minds segment awaits.
Super month-end savings is here, only at Passat's The Food King. Stock up and save more on Flavorite ice cream, 3.2 liters, 2 buckets, just $95. Fruta Cool Kids juice, 200 ml, 8 packs, just $20. Nutrimix premium flour, 10 kilograms, now $68. Halal minced beef, 2 pounds, only $50. Swiss macaroni, 400 grams, 4 packs, just $20. Halal lamb leg slice, 3 pounds, just $100. Swirl detergent, 870 75 grams, 2 packs for $25. Plus more savings in store. Sale ends May 10th or while stocks last.
Quality value, that's our way. The real Bushlights, we're here to stay. The Food King Bushlights.
Magical Expressions Limited is the largest local importer and distributor of fresh cut stems, offering the widest range of beautiful flowers at the most affordable prices. Call us today at 701-6488 or visit our website to order.
Recession have you down? Don't lose hope. Head on down to Tire Clinic for the recession deals. That should big savings with our road hazard warranty on Dunlop, Tomitoma, and Falcon tires. Available at Tire Clinic, Cuba, Chaguanas, and Pleasant Park. Tire Clinic, a tire for every need. Call 636-8973 or 636-2958.
What a surprise!
Oh, please, be seated.
We were not expecting you. On behalf of the company, I would like to extend to you our heartfelt condolences.
Thank you very much.
This is a very complicated situation.
I have no intention of being dependent on Charisma's handouts because I intend to take full responsibility of running this company.
In Westwood Park, nothing stays hidden for long. Watch the drama unfold. Saturdays at 7:30 p.m. only on CNC3.
Welcome back to the #1 show for news, views, and interviews of all things medical. In the human body, hormones whisper, but their effects continue to echo loudly across every system we depend on. This evening on Medical Minds, we are joined by a man who has dedicated his career to understanding and teaching these powerful signals called hormones. Dr. Sanjay Kalra from India is one of the world's leading voices in endocrinology. Let's have a look at no stranger to our show, Dr. Sanjay Kalra.
Good evening, friends. I am Dr. Sanjay Kalra, an endocrinologist from India. It's always a great pleasure being on Trinidad TV. It's nice meeting old friends and even nicer making new ones. On the 7th of April every year, we celebrate World Health Day. And this year's theme has been Together for Health, Stand with Science. What does this mean? Together for Health. Together means that all of us, patients and public, physicians and paramedical personnel, and policymakers and planners, all of us should get together for better health. We need to speak with each other. We need to listen to each other. We need to understand our rights and responsibilities. We need to make our voice heard. Now, the voice should be powerful, just like our presenter's voice is powerful. Dr. Joel Tilak Singh's voice resonates throughout the world. But it's not just about power. It's about being pleasant. It's about being polite. So please remember to be pleasant and polite when you speak with each other. Doctors speaking with patients, patients speaking with doctors. This voice, this partnership should be a partnership of purpose, of planning, and it should be something that is proactive. While talking to each other, remember that you should listen such that people love to speak to you, and you should speak such that people love to listen to you. If you are able to do this, stand together for health, automatically science will come in. Now, all of us want to be healthy, but sometimes we seek non-evidence-based methods. These methods are not based on science. Alternative and complementary medicine may have their place. So faith healing is powerful. Traditional healing does have its benefits. But these should not delay or distract from reaching the right treatment. So reach out to your doctor and ask them, can I practice faith healing as well? Can I take complementary medicine as well? Usually the answer will be yes, complementary, but sometimes complement may harm. Take an example, someone who is taking a thyroid tablet every day, and if she begins taking fenugreek water or cinnamon water to the tune of 1 or 2 liters a day, along with the thyroxine tablet, the tablet is not going to get absorbed. It is not going to be effective. We will end up losing health. So once again, on World Health Day, let's remind ourselves, across all continents, the Atlantic, the Indian Ocean, let's stand together for health. Let's stand with science. Best wishes to all of you, to the entire nation, and to Dr. Joel Tilak Singh as we go together in this journey towards better health. Best wishes to all of you.
And we say a special thank you to Dr. Kalra for his love, service, and support. It's always a delight, honor, and privilege to have him on our show. And as a reminder, the Presbyterian Church of Trinidad and Tobago would like to invite you to the inaugural Beth Rapha Mission 5K. It will be a powerful morning of healing, hope, and renewal. Now, Beth Rapha means House of Healing, and this is your invitation to be part of it. So you can join us at 6 a.m. on Saturday, May 9th, 2026 at Paradise Hill in San Fernando, as the nation will come together in faith, in community, and in purpose. Bring your family, bring your friends, bring an open heart, because sometimes the best way to begin again is to show up. For more information, contact St. Andrew's Theological College at 657-7554. The inaugural Beth Rapha Mission 5K, Saturday, May 9th, 2026. Coming up next, one question, one answer, and one lucky winner. Healthy joints, a happy heart, and prizes you love. Our giveaway segment is up next.
Since I started wearing hands-free glide step Skechers Sleep-ins, my other shoes are useless. With Skechers Sleep-ins, I just step in and they're on. Try Skechers Sleep-ins.
Magnetic hairbrush prevents baldness, graying, and scalp fungus. Promotes healthy hair growth and healthy scalp.
Promote hair growth, prevent hair loss and thinning of your hair with the red light massaging comb. Turn every stroke into a soothing self-care ritual.
Attractive magnetic copper bracelets relieve arthritis pains in the wrists and fingers. Available exclusively at Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited. Shop now and get special discounts.
In today's fast-paced competitive job market, certification courses provide individuals with flexible and industry-relevant learning options. Increase your chances of employment with a certification course at CTS College. We have over 50 courses in business, IT, do-it-yourself or professional development to choose from, all developed by industry experts. Courses start as low as $200 and can be completed in as little as 1 day, allowing you to acquire the relevant skills you need quickly and affordably. Contact CTS College today to sign up.
Welcome back to CNC3's Ask the Doctor. It's giveaway time with the compliments of Joseph Sandel and the rest of his excellent team at Great Health Works. The number's on the screen. We'd love to hear from you. And as a reminder, when you're patched into the studio, listen on your telephone rather than the TV set, because there is a delay that creates confusion. And our question this evening is a mouthful. What is the sphygmomanometer used to measure? So I had to take a deep breath before it. It's a mouthful. Sometimes the spelling may be rather awkward to expect, but it's something found in so many homes throughout Trinidad and Tobago, indeed the world. Hello, good evening, and welcome to our show.
Hi, good evening.
Thank you for being part of our program, ma'am. Welcome.
Hi.
So what is this device used to measure? A sphygmomanometer.
This device is used to measure blood pressure.
Indeed it is. So many people are using home blood pressure kits and monitors. We've seen these have evolved during the past few years. And in fact, the use of these kits would be recommended by many of the hypertension societies abroad, so that you actually get an idea of your blood pressures at home. Congratulations, and you're a winner. So useful, and of course the world is trying to keep your blood pressure under 130/80 millimeters of mercury. Have you used these supplements before?
Yes.
What has been your experience thus far?
Amazing.
I'm pleased to hear, and I'm sure sponsors would be too. So stay on the line. We want to take some of your personal information off the air. And once more, it's a delight and honor to have you as part of our program. Congratulations. It's interesting to mention, too, that World Hypertension Day is in the month of May, the 17th of that month. We'll be talking a lot more about that silent killer in subsequent episodes. So the sphygmomanometer to measure blood pressure. It's time for a short break, and when we return, it's the open forum with more of your questions and hopefully answers. Stay with us.
At Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, we are making this Mother's Day extra special. Enjoy special discounts, free giveaways, plus $100 off detox spa session. Experience our infrared ultrasonic blanket. Turn back the clock with our LED non-surgical facelift for that natural, radiant glow. Not sure what she loved most? Our gift certificates can let her choose her perfect gift this Mother's Day. Modern Caribbean Enterprises Limited, because every mom deserves to feel beautiful, appreciated, and renewed. Call 653-0011.
Ready to engineer your future? Join the Association of Professional Engineers of Trinidad and Tobago for the Technical Conference Tuesday, May 12th and Wednesday, 13th at the Hyatt Regency. Discover cutting-edge solutions shaping our Caribbean future. Hear from leading international, regional, and local experts with over 20 dynamic presentations. Engineers, students, professionals, this is your space. APET Technical Conference 2026. Sustainable, smart, and resilient.
Shikleisha Limited, the Caribbean's largest manufacturers of plain and printed paper bags, leaders in plastic bags, vermicelli, split piece powder, and greaseproof paper, ideal for doubles, french fries, and sandwiches. Supplying stores nationwide. For quality products, trust Shikleisha Limited, 665-3336.
Get a free pair of polarized sunglasses with the purchase of new Gen S Transitions lenses with anti-reflective coating and frames. Selected designer frames now just $4.99 with additional promotions. Hurry, limited time only at Seaview Optical.
Some of us like to test limits, but there won't always be second chances. Obey the speed limits. Maybe you don't value your life, but others value theirs. A message from the TTPS.
Welcome back to the open forum of CNC3's Ask the Doctor. We'd love to hear from you with questions of a medical nature, but just a gentle reminder, when you're patched into the studio, listen on your telephone rather than the TV set. And if you prefer, you may listen to the suggested reply on the TV after. So our first caller to open the batting hails from Orapooch. Good evening and welcome.
Good afternoon, Doctor.
Thank you for being part of our program, ma'am. Welcome.
Doctor, I take about 5 vitamins a day. Is that too much? That's one question.
Yes, ma'am.
And the other question, I find I belching too much. All day I'm belching. What's the cause of that?
Thank you very much for taking the time to call in, and 2 very insightful questions, because there is always a school of thought that vitamin supplementation is entirely safe and would be needed. But for most of us, I like to say that Trinbagonians may have very expensive urine, because many of these supplements would just be excreted by the kidneys. And I'll tell you that sometimes, if taken in large doses, could potentially be toxic. So if you take large amounts amounts of, say, vitamin D, because there has been research, particularly in the heels of the COVID-19 pandemic, that it may boost immunity, it may help with your blood sugar, your heart, it may even lower your chance for cancer and some immune-mediated problems. And most of us, if we're not exposed to the sun, we're not absorbing enough and may actually have subnormal levels of vitamin D. I would advise, though, that if you're having a good diet, if you're not a vegan, if you've been drinking well, you've been eating well, have a chat with your doctor about perhaps doing some tests before you consider supplementation. So there is a basic blood test to actually assess levels of vitamin D. Sometimes you may get your vitamin C from fruits or vegetables, so in your diet. People, if they have nerve-related symptoms, are often prescribed a B complex that you may get also from foods. So the studies, but the evidence may be limited in terms of whether or not these are useful or purely being excreted in urine at an exorbitant cost. So, and perhaps a good multivitamin may be recommended by a doctor. Have a chat with your doctor and or pharmacist about what would be appropriate for you, because 5 sounds like a bit much. And perhaps sometimes a side effect of these supplements may include the production of gas. And so the expulsion of gas from your mouth in terms of belching may be a manifestation of some of these supplements. They may actually interact with drugs that are prescribed by a doctor. Of note, and we heard briefly from Dr. Kaller in the Medical Minds about thyroid hormones, sometimes interacting with supplements such as fenugreek or cinnamon. So if I may add, thyroid hormone replacement is sometimes an issue in persons who take iron or calcium supplements because it hampers absorption. So drugs which are prescribed by a doctor may actually interfere with some of these supplements, and neither would they be totally safe. So have a chat with your doctor about whether or not you can amend or you can reduce such. The belching, though, you may also want to consider the possibility of reflux of acid, sometimes spicy foods, if you eat too quickly, if you eat too late, large amounts of food. This may also cause the increased intake of gas. People find that if they have gallstones, so that structure called a gallbladder is used to store bile after it's made in the liver. And sometimes there may be these crystals called gallstones which are formed. They may be associated with pain to the right upper part of the tummy, with nausea, vomiting, and there is a potential for infection. So your doctor, after a good history and examination, may want to consider even doing a scan of the abdomen, and there are even further testing too to determine whether or not there is something linked to your belching. So basic blood investigations, sometimes a scan of the tummy, and some simple lifestyle measures, as we mentioned, may all assist with this particularly annoying and sometimes embarrassing symptom. Thank you so much for taking the time to call in, because the use of vitamin supplementation has been so common in the last few years. In fact, it is a mega industry. I think when we talk about pharmaceuticals, is linked potentially to adverse effects, interactions with drugs that may be prescribed by a doctor, and maybe of limited benefit for most of the population who would be eating and drinking well. Of course, that does not apply to certain situations, such as pregnant or nursing women. If you have issues absorbing vitamins by mouth, you may want to have a chat, doing some tests to determine whether or not there is a deficiency present. Our next caller hails from Port of Spain. Welcome to the capital city.
Yes, Doctor. Good night. You're good.
Thank you for being part of our show, sir. It's a pleasure to have you on the air.
Well, it's a pleasure to be here because you're a man who stands firm for certain beliefs and things, like that.
Thank you for your love and support, sir.
What I want to say quickly, because I know it are other people waiting to come on.
It's okay. Go ahead.
How long are you supposed to have in a catheter?
Sorry, sir?
How long are you supposed to have in a catheter? Just wanted to find.
How long?
A person supposed to have in a catheter.
I'm not hearing the latter part of your call. How long?
What I wanted to find out, yes, I want to load down too close to the TV.
Yes, sir.
Right.
So the last part of your question, I lost it. Thank you.
What I wanted to find out, from you is how long somebody's supposed to have in a catheter.
A catheter. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Because
What was the reason for having it inserted in the first place? Was it that there was a blockage of passing urine? It sounds like we lost that chap. And for the sake of our viewers, he's asking about the length of time that a tube should be inserted into the bladder for the drainage of urine. And in a man perhaps more than 50, particularly if there are prostate issues, there may be blockage or stoppage of the free flow of urine, and this may be associated with not just intense pain, but also may cause a potential damage to the kidneys. So there are many reasons for such, but perhaps the commonest may be prostate disease. So the prostate gland is about the size of a walnut, is located near the bladder. But if there is enlargement, inflammation, or even prostate cancer, which is particularly common in this country, you may find that it could be a symptom. So the urologist, who's a specialist that handles issues such as stones in the kidneys or prostate disease, would consider a temporary insertion of the catheter, either through the penis or sometimes in the lower part of the abdomen. Now, this, of course, is a foreign object that is inserted into the body, so there's always the chance for infections. Sometimes the symptoms may range from fever, chills, nausea, vomiting, abdominal pain, but also burning, blood in the urine, or it may be cloudy, associated with a foul smell. Your doctor may want to consider sending a sample for testing, and even antibiotics if needed. However, most times the catheter would be changed after 6 weeks. There are clinics associated for changing such, so that you don't necessarily have to see a doctor. I remember as an intern, I spent 6 weeks in urology, and the nurses were so versed in this skill of inserting with a catheter. You monitor the patient, ensure that all is well, and then you decide whether or not there is an infection, or whether, of course, based on your clinic time, if the catheter needs to stay in. These foreign objects should perhaps be in, and a simple answer to your question, which comes with many caveats I know, is that it should be for the shortest possible time. There's a foreign object and there's a potential for infection. However, some men require it long term, because if they remove the catheter, if there is a weakness to the muscles or even nerve damage, perhaps someone with a spinal injury, you may find that long-term use of the catheter is indicated. Sometimes antibiotics may be rotated because of that risk of infection. However, sometimes we would admit patients onto the ward temporarily for what is called a trial without the catheter, and would be monitored by both nursing and medical staff to determine whether or not it is absolutely essential. If you do a surgery for enlargement of the prostate, you may find that removal of the catheter is possible. So long term, you may want to change it perhaps every 6 weeks, consider antibiotics if there are features of infection, and hopefully deal with the underlying reason. Why was that catheter inserted? If there is an underlying cause that can be managed by the urology clinic, that should be the next step, so that you are not left with a long-term catheter. So one size doesn't fit all. And thank you for taking the time to ask a very pertinent question. As we head to Pitti Valley, good evening and welcome to Ask the Doctor.
Hi, good evening. I would like to first commend you on the wonderful job that you are doing, educating the public.
Thank you.
Taking the time to do so.
Thank you.
My question relates and pertains to statin medication.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I have been asked by my doctor or prescribed to go on statin medication because of increasing levels of the bad cholesterol.
I see.
My concern is that some of the side effects I have noted I'm experiencing.
Yes, ma'am.
One that has me concerned is memory loss.
Yes.
And my mother suffers with Alzheimer's. She's already an Alzheimer's patient. So naturally, that will be one of my concerns, more so given the fact that I'm fully into menopause. And, you know, during that stage or that season, women tend to experience some brain fog, memory lapses, and stuff like that.
Indeed.
So I am asking if you could nudge me in the right direction, separate and apart from going back to my doctor. I have not been taking the statins as prescribed. And I know that in itself is not the correct thing to do, but I haven't been able to make an appointment to go back.
Yes.
But I just want to get your take on statin meds and the side effects.
Yes, ma'am. And thank you for a fabulous question, and I hear you. And I certainly understand and appreciate the fear that sometimes would be generated, not just by the fact that statins may cause some uncommon side effects, but also because of mom's history of Alzheimer's dementia. Now, for the sake of our viewers, statins are very potent drugs. They are not only used for lowering the bad type of your cholesterol, but also in persons who have had heart attacks or strokes, they may reduce the chance of having a subsequent event. In persons who have an LDL level, that's the low density lipoprotein level, which exceeds 190, you may want to consider the use of a low-dose statin. If you're a person with diabetes, if you find that you're at a moderate or high risk for having a heart attack or stroke, the doctor may even consider the use of a statin. So I always emphasize that perhaps why not consider doing a thyroid function test, because if the thyroid is underactive, it may be associated with symptoms similar to menopause, such as lethargy, brain fog, and weight gain. And it can also account for a high level of cholesterol. And if you treat the thyroid function, you may find, some people have a secondary cause for why their lipid profile is abnormal. So a doctor may want to consider doing some other investigations. Of course, we always emphasize the role of lifestyle changes, a diet rich in fruits, vegetables, nuts, peas and beans, low fat and low salt, and as well as exercise, 30 to 60 minutes for most days in a week. Unfortunately, some persons have a genetic predisposition in which the liver manufactures a lot of cholesterol, much more than it can be cleared. There are non-statin therapies available for some people, or sometimes reducing the dose, a low dose, and perhaps on some days in the week. So it does not have to necessarily be every day. So it's something, one size doesn't fit all either. And it's part, I reckon, the art of medicine. You're looking for other reasons. You're considering which part of the profile may need changing. There are some recent amendments in guidelines in places like the United States and Europe, in which they may want to consider doing another test called lipoprotein A. And if that is elevated, it means that some people would be at an increased risk of having a cardiovascular event, which at the end of the day is what we're interested in. So it's not just a matter of looking at numbers. We want to ensure that your risk is reduced for being hospitalized for something particularly catastrophic. So there are non-statin therapies. I know people often speak about pains and aches in their muscles. Sometimes the doctor would also want to consider monitoring your liver enzymes, because uncommonly these may be affected. The memory loss that you alluded to is also a rare side effect. The benefits are indeed greater than the potential risks, but I hear you once more, and I understand and empathize that we would want to be particularly vigilant if you're having side effects with the statin. So if you find that brain fog has been worsened, have a chat with your doctor about exploring some of these non-statin therapies that reduce absorption of your cholesterol from the intestine. Sometimes we talk about the use of omega-3 fatty acids in people who have very high triglycerides, another type of fat. So there may be a need to delve a little further into your lifestyle changes, also some basic blood investigations to see if there is another reason for why levels are elevated. And of course, consideration should still be given to statins if you've had a heart attack, if you've had a stroke, if you're extremely high risk, such as a person with diabetes 40 to 75, and of course, weighing pros against cons, advantages against potential risks. It's a brilliant question, because this is something that is a bugbear for many doctors and patients throughout the globe. Our next caller is from Central Trinidad. As Kuva is on the line. Good evening and welcome to
Good evening. Good night, doctor.
Thank you for being part of our program, ma'am.
Thank you. My question is, what does cause psoriasis?
And it is a very interesting one because it's a common clinical problem and such a conundrum for many people battling psoriasis. Once more, for the sake of our viewers, it is a skin disorder in the main, but it can also be associated with inflammation to the joints. It's associated with changes as well to sometimes your blood sugar, and it's an inflammatory process. So would you believe psoriasis is viewed as a risk factor for having changes to your arteries? So we know that we will speak about risks for having a heart attack or stroke, inclusive of diabetes, hypertension, the lipid abnormalities, smoking, obesity, a sedentary lifestyle, or family history. Psoriasis is an autoimmune problem in which it is believed that antibodies may be attacking skin, and it's a general inflammatory process. A host of chemicals, it's almost like an internal battlefield is being fought, may be associated with these salmon pinkish plaques on the elbows or knees, which are quite scaly and may itch, sometimes worsened by stress or certain situations. It may be triggered by viral infections, and we saw psoriasis in persons who take certain medications. Lithium, a class of drugs called beta blockers, used in hypertension or to shorten or to slow the pulse rate. Beta blockers, sometimes if you consume large volumes of alcohol, if you're taking drugs for certain other problems, such as rheumatoid arthritis or lupus, these drugs may also exacerbate the skin rashes. So changes to the nails and the joints may unfortunately be problems associated with psoriasis. There is a skin clinic available in Couva as part of the Southwest Regional Health Authority, and there are some medications too that are available. So basic blood investigations, the drugs may actually suppress immunity, so that is another plethora of side effects your doctors would also want to discuss to ensure that you are not exposed to such. And of course, there is often joint care in many clinics. Persons with psoriasis may find that apart from the dermatology clinic, they have to also attend a rheumatology if they are dogged by joint pains. Sometimes, as we mentioned, a diabetic clinic or even a cardiac one. So it's not just an issue affecting the skin. As we learn more about this uncomfortable and unpleasant illness, persons may find if they have a patch that you're moisturizing, so the use of some moisturizers would be fine. Sometimes you may use a steroid topically, short term if there is a small patch, but there are other drugs required to suppress immunity, and of course if it's particularly widespread, you should be under the care of a dermatologist at the very least. As we stay in central Trinidad, Shagonas is on the line. The phone lines are burning up. Hello.
Hi, good night, doctor.
Welcome to our program. It's a pleasure to have you on the air.
Thank you, sir.
Yes.
My question is, how safe is something called Cybrava? Cybrava, and what it is used for?
Yes, sir. And thank you. Yes. Thank you very much for taking the time to call in. That is a superb question, and it would be tied in to our lady's call from Petty Valley in terms of hyperlipidemia, high levels of cholesterol, that some people who are definitely intolerant of statins, they've tried many drugs in that class, they're having muscle aches and pains, or may have found changes in their liver enzymes 3 times or more above the upper limit. They're having adverse effects associated with statins and are intolerant. It is a drug that is approved for the management of high cholesterol, particularly to lower that so-called bad type or low-density lipoprotein. So I mentioned that it's a soft, waxy substance. When we're talking about lipids, that forms a vital part of our bodies. We require cholesterol for cell membranes, for vitamin D, for steroid hormones. So it's a vital component of the human body. However, if the liver makes too much, or if it does not clear the excess, this is where we have an issue in which there is a potential risk factor for blockages to the arteries, leading to heart attacks, strokes, blockages to the legs called peripheral arterial disease. So Brava works at one of the pathways involved with production of the cholesterol. It is administered as an injection just beneath the skin, similar to how we would administer insulin. So you may take your first shot on day 1, and then 6 weeks later you may take another, and subsequently, perhaps every 6 months. The problem with that particular drug in this country is the exorbitant cost. And sometimes we know that if you're not insured, you're battling to actually continue this as an option. Your doctor will also want to monitor, of course, the fact that you may be allergic to drugs. He or she would be also looking at your organ function, like your kidneys or liver. It's very well tolerated. I do have a minority of persons who take this particular injection once every 6 months, and it has been effective. There are some studies as well in places like the US and the UK in looking at the efficacy of these drugs. Perhaps something that may be a little cost-effective, may be more acceptable. It's not available in the public sector, and your doctor would actually have to order from the distributor because of the fact that there is a minority of persons using this particular drug. So in the management of high cholesterol, non-statin, and it acts at the level of the manufacture, the body's endogenous or natural way in which it produces cholesterol. Wow, parting is always such sweet sorrow, and what a mixture of superb calls this evening. Very relevant, and I hope it was useful to all concerned. And our closing quote, because in the month of April, there was World Book Day 2026. It emphasizes literacy, global understanding, and the transformative power of books to promote education and cultural awareness. The month of April also marks the day that William Shakespeare would have passed, that immortal bard of Stratford-upon-Avon in the United Kingdom. And I thought this quote is particularly relevant from his classic Julius Caesar. Cowards die many times before their deaths. The valiant never taste of death but once. So this isn't about physical death. It is about how we view life. Shakespeare is saying that fear makes us die repeatedly. Every time we avoid a decision, every time we delay action or retreat from the truth. The valiant, on the other hand, will tend to face reality. They act, they accept uncertainty, and so they only die once, in the literal sense. And I think in medicine, and as in so many of our Ask the Doctor family, this will resonate deeply. Patients often suffer many small deaths: fear of diagnosis, fear of treatment, fear of change. But courage, getting tested, starting treatment, making the lifestyle changes will turn fear into action. Thank you for trusting me to walk beside you each week, in your homes and in your hearts. To my team behind the lens, to the endlessly fascinating Neela and baby Daniel, and to you, our viewers, stay strong, stay curious, and never stop choosing kindness. Rest, reflect, and love deeply. God bless. We'll see you next week on Ask the Doctor.
You're watching CNC3.